with this type of gameplay and the way it's designed, I really think this is just about as good as you could hope for, at least if you're going to give every character the boost, which obviously they did, because, you know, Sonic Rush, that's the new thing, is the boost. They want it to be the big prominent part of the game. But I suppose you could have characters that don't have the boost, and then you could have some more traditional Sonic gameplay as well. That could potentially work. I actually should try that, trying to play one of these games without boosting and see how that works. I imagine just because the way that the level design is laid out, it wouldn't really change that much. It seems like it would probably just be the same game, but you just do less things and there's less going on because you're no longer worrying about all the meter management stuff. But it's worth giving a shot, I suppose. So all in all, I think that the core gameplay of Sonic Rush is pretty fantastic, and while it's not my favorite way to push the Sonic series forward, you know, I would rather we continue to add more depth to the gameplay rather than taking some away and making things simpler. When you decide to, alright, we're gonna make things simpler and streamline the gameplay, within the context of that decision, I think they did a fantastic job, and they did so in such a way where they didn't really make the gameplay any less fun despite being much simpler, depending on what game we're comparing it to. Like, I do still think that Advance 3 is definitely the best, but as far as your typical 2D Sonic games go, I would say Sonic Rush is right in line with the best of them. Of course, if you are dead set on Sonic needs those momentum mechanics, I can understand Sonic Rush not really doing it for you. But as I said in my Sonic Advance 3 video, I don't necessarily need momentum mechanics in Sonic. I care primarily about fun gameplay and fun movement mechanics, and I think Sonic Rush does have that. And even though it is lacking that momentum stuff, it has pretty much every other element that makes a Sonic game. It does so in a different way. You could say it's a different type of Sonic game, but still definitely a Sonic game. One thing about Sonic Rush, though, that I do think kind of misses the mark in terms of it being a proper Sonic game, though, is a little bit of the level design in one particular way. In terms of the level layout stuff, I think that the level design is great. I got no problems there, and Sonic Rush follows your typical Sonic structure of zones with 2 acts and then a boss. And of course, every zone has its own level gimmicks that changes up the gameplay a little bit. All that is perfectly fine, but there is one thing that's missing here. It is the way the level design is kind of, I don't know, flavored, I would say? It's kind of hard to describe. The level design itself